American English with Linda, phrase by phrase series. And I'm doing a sub-series on between hello and goodbye. And this is part 3. We are still describing in this one, but we're using verb forms that end in ed and ing, and they come from verb phrases. Usually when I teach, I say this is what we're thinking and this is how we say it, and not a lot of grammar terms that you get in a college course. But I found this one a little bit difficult to explain, so I'm suggesting that if you don't understand my explanation, just read the sentences over and over, and that will teach you the lesson without the explanation so much, but I will give you the explanation. Just you will use the part that. So let's look first of all with the sentence where the verb has a direct object. This is a verb with a direct object. I love chocolate. Chocolate's a direct object. Now let's make it right now. I am loving chocolate. At one time I didn't, but now I am loving chocolate. Chocolate is still the direct object, so we have one. So let's move the direct object to the front. Chocolate. Now the verb isn't loving anymore because chocolate doesn't love anything. Chocolate is loved by me and my pals. We all love chocolate. Chocolate is loved by me. All 3 sentences are the same idea. I love chocolate. I am loving chocolate. Chocolate is loved by me. Second example, they wash cars. They are washing cars right now. And then I move cars to the front and make it the subject. Cars are washed by them. Now I use the ed form, not the ing form. He writes books. He is writing books. Now when I switch it to the ed form, there's no ed form for writes. It's an irregular verb in the past. It's written, wrote or written, in this case written. Books are written by him. It's the same as using an ed form, but it doesn't have an ed form. He writes books. He is writing books. Books are written by him. The meaning is the same. But in 2 of the sentences, books is at the end, and 1 sentence, books is at the beginning. Now, sometimes the verb does not have a direct object. You are sleeping. You sleep. You are sleeping. But I can't say you are slept, or he is slept, or it is slept, because there's no direct object to go to the first. He talks on the phone. That's where he talks or how he talks, but it's not what. There's no direct object. I can say he is talking on the phone, but I can't say he is talked. She smiles. She is smiling, but not something is smiled. That doesn't work. We don't have a direct object to move to the front. So let's look at the ones where we can do that. If you have a direct object, but you lose it, you drop it off. When the verb phrase loses a direct object, the ing word often seems more like an adjective. For instance, the book interests me. The book is interesting to me. That sounds like the book is old. The book is big. Sounds like an adjective. So it describes the book, just like old would describe the book. But if I say I, moving me to the front, am interested in that book, the book is interesting in all 3 sentences. It's the book that's interesting. So I can't say I am interesting. It's I am interested. She inspires her students. She is inspiring to her students, or just she is inspiring. That's the same as saying she is young. And I can say the same idea. Her students are inspired by her. You can't tell it on the first one or the last group of sentences, but they turn blue if they're a direct object that moves to the front. But I is kind of hard to see that. So blue means it used to be a direct object, now it's the subject. Her students are inspired by her. What's inspiring? She is. The students are not inspiring. They're being inspired. It frustrates me. It makes me so mad. It frustrates me. It is frustrating to me. Use the same thing. I am frustrated by it. Me goes to the front, it becomes I, and it goes to the end of the sentence. So what's frustrating? It. In every sentence, it is what's frustrating, and it has an effect on me, and I become frustrated. So a little longer explanation. In a verb phrase that sounds like an adjective, ing verb describes a quality or characteristic or condition of the subject. It's an adjective for the subject. We don't usually call that in college. We just call it a verb phrase, but the second part of the verb phrase acts exactly like an adjective. When you have ed verb, that's describing an effect on the subject. It's not describing the subject, but an effect on the subject. There's just a tiny bit of difference. The action is from, to, toward, or by something, and it passes that back to the subject. For instance, I use interesting a lot because that's one that students often use, and it's confusing. Excuse me. She is interesting to her students. That's describing her. Now, she is interested in studying English. The interesting thing is studying English. And she is interested. But the interesting thing is not her. The interesting thing is studying English. Rick was encouraging to his employees. That's describing Rick. And in the second sentence, Rick was encouraged by the applause. Rick is not the encouraging one. The applause is the encouraging thing, and it affected Rick. Some more examples. Which one is interesting? That hobby interests me. That hobby is interesting to me. We just changed interests to is interesting, but interesting now describes the hobby. It's an interesting hobby. Math interested us in school. Now I'm using the past tense, but math was interesting to us in school. Now the interested there in the first math sentence is not a verb phrase, so it doesn't apply to this lesson. It's just past tense. History will interest them later. History will be interesting to them later. History is what's interesting. If I change it to interested, I am interested in that hobby. Maybe it's golfing, maybe it's drawing, your hobby. I am interested in the hobby. What's interesting? The hobby is. So I'm not the one that's interesting, it's the hobby. So I change interesting to interested. In high school, we were interested in math. What's interesting? Math. Not we. We may be bored, but the math was interesting. It caused us to be interested. They will be interested in history later. They will be interested in history. What's interesting? History. They caused them to be interested, or history caused them to be interested, and affected them. This book is boring. I'm describing the book. Boring is like an adjective. The book is boring. The book is boring. Now, I am bored. Something is affecting me and making me bored. It's this book. So what is boring? In both sentences, the book is boring, but I am bored because of the book. The fireworks were fascinating. I could just stop right there. The fireworks were fascinating. Fascinating describes the fireworks. Or I could add to the boy. The boy was fascinated. Now the boy's not fascinating in this sentence. It's the fireworks. Still, it's the fireworks that are fascinating. But it had an effect on the boy, and he became fascinated. All this work is overwhelming to me. That means there's so much, I can't do it all, it's too much work. I am overwhelmed by the work. What's overwhelming? The work in both sentences. The work being overwhelming affected me, and I became overwhelmed. The results were disappointing. The results we're describing, the results were disappointing. The scientists are not disappointing. We're not describing the scientists in that way. The scientists were disappointed. Something happened to them. And it was caused by the results. They became disappointed because of the results. The news is encouraging. I'm telling you that the news is encouraging, and that's the description of the news. You know, if I say we are encouraged by the news is still encouraging, and it caused an effect on us. We became encouraged. The roller coaster ride was frightening to them. I'm describing the roller coaster ride. The young people were frightened by the roller coaster ride. It's still the roller coaster ride that's frightening, but it caused an effect on the young people. Solar eclipses are amazing. It's describing the eclipses. We are amazed by solar eclipses. We're not amazing. The solar eclipses are amazing. It just caused an effect on us. The speech was inspiring. Inspiring describes the speech. The audience was inspired by the speech. It's still the speech that is inspiring, but it had an effect on the audience and caused them to be inspired. So which do we mean? George is amazing or George is amazed? Well, if we're describing George, it's amazing. Amazing describes the quality George has. He impresses us with his talent. He is amazing. I'm describing it. George is amazed. George is not amazing in this sense. Something else is amazing and it affected him. George is amazed by the lights. Something is causing him to feel this way. He is amazed by the drone light show that happened to him. Which do you mean? Evelyn is embarrassing or Evelyn is embarrassed? In the first one, we're describing the quality of Evelyn. She does things that other people think are not good, and they just look away. Oh my, Evelyn is embarrassing. But if Evelyn is embarrassed, then something is causing her to feel this way. She is embarrassed. Oh no, I'm so embarrassed. I made a mistake. She is embarrassed by her mistake at work. Which do you mean? The birds are annoying or the birds are annoyed? Annoying describes the characteristics of the birds. People don't like the birds' behavior. They are annoying. I'm describing the birds. The birds are annoyed. Something caused them to be that way. The children are throwing rocks at them, and the birds don't like it. Throwing rocks caused them to feel this way. They became annoyed because of something that happened to them. The woman's irritating, or the woman is irritated. Irritating means it's just a little bit bothersome. I don't like what she's doing. She's irritating. She irritates this person, she irritates that person, either because she talks too much or she complains all the time. She's irritated. But if I say the woman is irritated, she's the one that's upset, not the other people. Something is making her feel that way. Something is causing her to feel this way. Maybe comments by the other woman are making her mad. The comments are making her mad. She's irritated by the comments of the other woman. So something's causing her to feel that way. So the woman is irritated. The rainy weather is depressing, or could you say Margaret was depressed? The rainy weather is depressing. It makes you feel yucky. It's not good. It's not pleasant. Or Margaret was depressed. I really couldn't depress the weather, so I had to use a different type of sentence. Margaret was depressed by her low grade on the test. Something is causing her to feel this way. It's the grade on her test that made her feel unhappy. So Margaret was depressed. Now, here are a couple of notes just to review. Other ways you can describe things, sometimes with an ing or an ed, but you don't put it in a verb phrase. It's just an adjective. That movie interests me is the regular verb. It is an interesting movie. Interesting is just an adjective. There's no verb phrase. And does not introduce the verb phrase. Is interesting is not a verb phrase because is too far away. It's an interesting movie. He's an interested math student. Or in the past, shoveling snow exhausted me. That's the verb in its regular past form. It's not one of those cases in a verb phrase. But here we have the ing form. It was an exhausting chore. I'm describing the chore. It's not part of a verb phrase. It's just an adjective. He was an exhausted athlete. I'm describing the athlete. I'm not putting it in a verb phrase. The was is too far away, so it's not a verb phrase. There are other ways to describe. So another quick note, when you see am, is, are, was, were before an ing verb, it is sometimes just an action, like we talked about before. It does not have a direct object, and it's less likely to change to ed. I am laughing, not I am laughed. Friends are partying, not are partied. Helen is dancing, not are danced. Note 3, when you see am, is, are, was, were before an ing verb, sometimes the ing word does seem more like an adjective. My friends are welcoming. It sounds like you're describing your friends. And then it's the new person is welcomed. My friends are welcoming a new person. The new person is welcomed. The artwork was pleasing to people, to visitors. The visitors were pleased by the art. That's just a review of what we had. Now, let's look at some conversations. There's just 4 quick conversations. Advisor, that's someone who helps a new student get enrolled. Drama interests you, right? Student, drama is interesting. Yes, I am interested in drama. So the advisor says, okay, let's schedule you for drama. Conversation 2, employer to new employee. We expect employees to work overtime occasionally. Okay with you? Employee. Yes, I am expecting to work overtime. Working overtime is expected by most employees in this field. Conversation 3, customer to clerk. Do you intend to have a sale soon? Clerk says, yes. We are intending to begin a sale on summer clothes next Monday. The sale is intended by our store to make room for more inventory. The last one, mother to son. Your friends enjoyed the birthday party, I see. I'm using past now. Yes, we were enjoying the games and refreshments the whole time. The birthday party was enjoyed by everyone who came. It's still the birthday party that gets enjoyed, but everyone is who is enjoying it in that sense. And your assignment, choose 1 or 2 conversations or a few of the other sentences. Keep repeating them aloud until they sound natural to you. I hope that helps, and see you next time.